Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of the Review at Rob Show, a new version of the show here, man, as we're in the video format. Normally, the show is just audio, but hey, I'm going to try out video this week and see how it goes. Maybe a mess, but hey, I am a mess, so that's all good, man. We're going to be talking about, spoiler free, of course, this week's review will be The Killer's Game. We got a little action movie to talk about with you, as well, a little bits of news to go over as well, man. So appreciate you joining in and watching the episode here with me. And just please hit that like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I mentioned, let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to be talking about The Killer's Game. There's a lovely poster for that movie. Put that up while I'm reading the details. The Killer's Game is rated R for some strong sexual material, brief drug use, nudity, language, and strong bloody violence. The film runs in at 1 hour and 44 minutes and is considered an action comedy film, which is currently playing in theaters. So, man, I didn't really pull up synopsis because I just want to riff here on this episode. So let's see how this goes, man. So The Killer's Game, if you see the poster, the star of the film is Dave Bautista, or wrestling fans know him as Batista. He is the star. He's playing a hitman. He's playing a hitman in this movie, just doing his hitman thing, going through life. Been doing that most of his life. Has been focused on all of that stuff. His mentor, his guider, his helper, all that stuff. Talks to him about maybe he wants to try to find somebody to settle down with and all that stuff because he's getting a little bit older. He's been in the game for a while. Maybe he wants to settle down and all that stuff. He comes across by happenstance through his job a lovely woman played by Sofia Boutella in this movie. Meets her through that stuff. They get to know each other. They fall for each other, and all that stuff. This is not spoilers. It's all in the trailer, pretty much. You get the gist of all this in the trailer. So they fall for each other, all that stuff, as you see in the trailer. Things seem to be going great. However, unfortunately, Joe Flood, Dave Bautista's character in the film, has been having headaches and all that stuff. So he goes to his doctor, gets checked out, and gets a prognosis is the word. Who knows? But he gets diagnosed. There we go. With a terminal illness, to where he, of course, decides to put a hit on himself. Because if he's going to go out, he's going to go out in the hitman way. Decides to put a hit out on himself, only to find out. Again, this is in the trailer. This is not spoilers. Only to find out that the diagnosis was incorrect. The records were swapped. Terrible freaking people working there to have that mistake happen. But things were swapped. He find out he does not have a terminal illness, and now that he's going to have to deal with this hit that he's put out on himself, for all that stuff. And again, avoiding spoilers, so I can't go into any further detail about that or what goes on and all that stuff. So, interesting idea, right? The movie itself, kind of your basic hitman kind of film action movie. You've got your guy going out to do his job and battling all these bad people and all that stuff. He's a hitman to take out other bad guys, right? So kind of your typical hitman film, like I mentioned there. I think Batista. I've always liked Batista, especially in his acting work. I think he's really good. He's considered the best of the wrestlers who've transitioned over into Hollywood to do things. That's up to you to decide. Let me know in the comments who you think the best one is. Is it Roddy Piper? Who knows? But I always thought he's done a good job. And I remember seeing this trailer a while back and was interested in it mostly because I myself am a huge Sofia Boutella fan. Love her, absolutely love her. Have seen every single movie she's done because she's in it. First time I saw her was The Mummy. I know some people don't like that movie, but first time I saw her was in The Mummy, and just been hooked on her since then. Like, she's a easily top 2 favorite actress with me when it goes to her. So I was into it for that, and I was like, interesting idea. Like, he's put a hit out on himself, and then how are we gonna go out of all this? Now he's got to fight back, John Wick style, right? So going there, I think the easiest way to kind of review this movie without completely spoiling it is that it's a mix of, like, again, you've got your basic hitman kind of movie, add in like some John Wick style stuff into it, as well as some Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Definitely got some Scott Pilgrim versus the World vibes in this. As well, it goes some Fast and the Furious. Doesn't go full Fast and the Furious. Never want to go full Fast and the Furious. Never ever. But it's got some of those outlandish moments in it as well. It's like, it's a little over the top, but not too over the top, as in, Fast and the Furious over there. So overall, enjoyable movie. It's one of those films that you can just like throw on. Don't have to be thinking too hard about. You can sit down, you can watch it, have a good time. Hour 44 minutes didn't even feel that long. Like, it felt pretty easy and pretty breezy because you want to see how or if he would get through all of this and what's going to happen with his love, this romance that's happening in this movie as well. What's going to happen there with all that stuff? And it's compelling enough thing, good enough story, dialogue, meh, dialogue a little hit and miss, but it's an action movie. We don't care too much about dialogue unless it's Mission Impossible. Who's paying attention to the dialogue, man? But overall, like I did really enjoy the movie. I don't know placement wise where it's going to fall for me at the end of the year, if it makes my top 10 or not, but it's pretty high up there, man. Like I had a really good time watching this movie. And again, I love Sofia Boutella. I'm a Batista fan, so it hits those marks for me as far as performers in the film. It's a really solid cast as well, and it's just a fun movie. Like it's a fun time movie that you can just throw on and have a good time. You don't have to overly process anything. You can just put it on, make your popcorn, have whatever snack you want to have, sit down and just have a good fun time. So it's pretty much a summary kind of movie, popcorn flick, whatever you want to call it. Good action, a little over the top at points, but fine. I don't like the CGI blood. I will say that. I'm not a fan of CGI blood, but I'm a huge horror movie fan, so I like the idea of people getting thrown, the red food, corn syrup stuff all over them, all this stuff. But, could do without CGI blood, but hey, that's the world we live in with movies, it seems these days, or some movies. But solid film, enjoyable, entertaining, good action, good enough script to keep you entertained, good enough story, especially the romance involved in how things are going to work out with his past, this hit that he's put on himself, and what's going to happen with them and all that stuff. So solid movie overall for me. I'm glad I did end up getting to see that in theaters. I don't know how much longer it will be in theaters, but I did enjoy the fact that I made the time to go out and see it. So I had a good time with it. If you saw it, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's go ahead and chat about that a little bit. Let's see. Going from there, let's talk about some news, mostly horror news. Let's do the DC sparks real quick before we go through all that. So in DC, not much to talk about as they're, of course, they're vamping up for their DCU and building all those things, and things are looking good if you care about stuff like Rotten Tomatoes and all that stuff. The Superman documentary, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, came out over the weekend, has like 100% score over there. And the Penguin came out, and I did my review for the Penguin. You can go check out that video here on Throwaway Podcast Network. I got that out there for the first episode of that show as well. I did Agatha's show, the first two episodes. I reviewed that as well. So go check out those, man. Had a good time with that. Kind of kick started the idea of doing this show as video as well. But the Penguin's out, and it's got like a high 90 score as well over there on Rotten Tomatoes. So James Gunn shared that today. It's the only reason I know, because I don't really look at Rotten Tomatoes. But James Gunn shared that stuff on his social media. He's like, a good start for the DCU, and it is. It's nice to see DC stuff being treated, nicely. So we got those two things out there that are doing well. Of course, we have Creatures Commando coming out later in the year, December. We have Joker 2, Folie à Deux coming out very soon in October, a couple weeks from now, a week from now. Yeah, week and a half, something like that. Math. But fun times happening over there, and a fun kind of thing actually has happened with the world of DC, where Batman, the character of Batman, is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, man. They say the first ever superhero, which I personally do not consider Batman a superhero. Feel about it however you want. To me, a superhero should have superpowers. Batman does not have superpowers. I'm sure there's been stories that have been written out there. I'm pretty sure there's comics out there that have him with having superpowers. But for me, I don't consider Batman a superhero. He's a vigilante. Love Batman. Batman's a great character. Love the character of Batman. I have plenty of Batman stuff. Love the video games. Always been a fan of Batman, but it's not a superhero. So Batman, the iconic character, has been around for 85 years, will be getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on September 26th. So this week, man, later this week, he's getting that star on the Walk of Fame. And the cool thing they're doing with this is they're putting the star close to or even right by Adam West, who, of course, famously played Batman on the 60s television show, and Batman co-creator Bob Kane. So the Batman star will be placed around those two, which is really freaking cool, man. Great, solid ideas of what they're doing there. So I like that. But that's it for DC for the moment. Of course, we'll have other stuff that's happening and all that stuff. And I'll, of course, have Joker talk for you when I review that, and may do another Penguin review. May have to get into spoilers with those things, because trying to review an episode is going to be like couple seconds, like, hey, this episode happened, it was cool, let's see what happens on the next episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna have to go into some kind of detail on that stuff, man. But we'll get there when we get there. Agatha as well. We should have a new episode of Agatha later this week. So enjoying both shows, man. I know that I'm a huge DC fan, and some people might say I'm a Marvel hater. I'm not a Marvel hater. I just don't enjoy it as much as other people do. But I'm enjoying that Agatha show, man. That show has been entertaining for sure. So Agatha, Penguin, both doing good stuff over there. All right, last bits of news. Let's talk horror stuff before we get out of here. Two things to talk about here is two famous franchises, one that's been going pretty well for a while and one that's trying to get back going. The one that's been going very well for a while here is Scream. Apparently, there is a rumor or news has come out. I haven't seen anything official about this yet, but there is reports of a Scream spinoff in the works or being on the way from Scream creator Kevin Williamson, his production company. And it's going to be apparently a spinoff that follows Kirby's character, Kirby Reed, played by Hayden Panettiere. Her character, of course, returned back in Scream 6. Scream 6. Yeah, they're working on Scream 7 now. So her character came back. Oh, she survived. You know, whatever. It is what it is. I guess we'd never, I don't know. I haven't watched those movies in a while. But there's always believed that she would have survived it because we never really saw anything. And then of course, she was in that last movie. So there's a report that they'll do a show with spinoff movie with her. Would probably prefer them to do a show if they were going to actually do it or not. But I've said it before on the show, and I'll say it again here. I'm kind of burnt on this Scream franchise. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm just kind of burnt out on it. I'll obviously, of course, see Scream 7, which I think they're shooting now. What's the release date? Scream 7. Filming was pushed to January 2025, so they're not going to start filming. They haven't even started filming yet, but we do know that Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox are back for that. So they're going back to that storyline. It was kind of fresh and cool for Scream 6 to have something away from that, but still connected, but at least enough away from it. And of course, we're getting Sydney and Gale back for this one. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I don't hate the Scream franchise. I just kind of burn out on it. I don't know. Are you feeling the same way with that franchise as I am? I don't know. But of course, things have happened. Jenna has become very popular, and her filming schedule, I think Wednesday is cutting into that. But at the same time, they're not filming until I don't know. I don't know. And then of course, stuff that happened with Melissa Barrera and all that stuff. So it's just that franchise is doing what it's going to do. And a lot of people are not happy about Scream 7 for the mentioned Melissa Barrera incident. But what can you do? But yeah, that's happening. Are you interested in a spinoff for that show? Do you think it should be, or a movie? Do you think it should be a show instead of a movie like I do? Or how you feeling about it? Are you even interested in it? Do you care about the Scream movies anymore? I get it. Ghostface, cool character. Ghostface is in Mortal Kombat, it looks like, coming up. So that's cool. Fine. Do it. Michael Myers is going to be in Call of Duty. Don't ask me how. Michael Myers is in it. Sam from Trick or Treat's in it. Art the Clown, is that his name? From Terrifier is in it. I feel like they probably showed somebody else as well. But Call of Duty, man, is just doing whatever they want over there. They had freaking Cody Rhodes doing the crossroads to somebody in that game not too long ago. Rhea Ripley's in it. Rey Mysterio's in it. Call of Duty's doing things. That's all I'm saying, man. So that's that. The other franchise I want to talk about here, Friday the 13th. Franchise has just been unbelievably just snake bit for 15, 16 years since that last movie came out, the remake, which is my personal favorite Friday the 13th movie. Since then, it's just been legal hell after legal hell after legal hell of them trying to figure out what they're going to do, or who has the rights to do this, who has the rights to do that. The last thing we've heard about this is that they're doing the show on Peacock for Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake is going to be the name of the show. And Cunningham, Sean S. Cunningham, has come out with some stuff talking about said show, getting us some updates on that. So just to quote him real quick, he said, quote, last I heard, they're talking about shooting it in Australia at the end of this year and releasing on Halloween 2025. But I've heard versions of that story for so long, I don't put a lot of credibility into it. There are just so many things that can go sideways. With the Friday 13th, yes. With that franchise, there are many things that can seem to go sideways over there as they try to figure. It's so. Anytime I talk about Friday the 13th, it's just so bizarre to me that they can't get something going there. Now I know the subject material of a Friday the 13th probably doesn't fit the time we live in. We live in a much judgier side, if you will, of times as opposed to the 80s where you're like, do whatever you want in these movies. Nowadays, who knows if or what they can get away with in a Friday the 13th movie. It's a horror film. They should be able to do whatever. Anybody should be able to do whatever the heck they want in a movie, for crying out loud. But does the formula of Friday the 13th fit, or are they having a hard time trying to make a new formula to fit the times of what's going on? Is that the problem? Of course, it's been mostly legal stuff. They're working on the show. Hopefully, it all works out. Peacock's over there. Chucky showed that you could do a show successfully. Still waiting on news for season 4 at this point. It's like, Don't know if it's happening, but we do know there's a Chucky movie coming, but or being worked on. But that showed that you can do it. Go back to Bates Motel. That showed that you can take these franchises and turn them into television shows. They're doing a Halloween show, right? I think. Yes. They're doing something with Halloween. Haven't fully announced it, but they plan on doing something television wise with Halloween. So we're just waiting for all that stuff to come out and figure out all that stuff. Friday 13th, the wheels are rolling, right? It's going. It's just, will it happen is the part that we have to wait on when it comes to Friday the 13th. But it is happening. Could possibly be released next next year in October. Is there a Friday the 13th next year in October? Let's check it out real quick as I pull up my handy dandy phone calendar. Let's see, October of next year. Riveting stuff. October. No, there's not a Friday 13th. There's a Monday the 13th. But there's not a Friday. Halloween is on a Friday next year, though. 31 flipped around 13. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. Hopefully that ends up happening. If they start filming, it's Crystal Lake. You would assume it's in a secluded area of Crystal Lake. You're not going to have to go over all that stuff. I wouldn't assume it's going to take you too long to make that. What are we doing? Just make it happen, man. But that's going on. Other stuff with Friday the 13th that he did let us know. There's a new Friday the 13th video game that's in the works. That's not new news. I've talked about that before on the show, but just rehashing, they are working on another Friday the 13th game, which there was one that was already out there, and they've shut the servers down to that one. But that game was beloved by many people, and not for me, mostly because I sucked at the game. The game itself, cool concept, awesomely put together, cool ideas, works very well. I do not work very well at the game. I sucked. I morphed into trees every time I tried to play the game. Terrible. But flip side, though, I'm pretty good at Killer Clowns. Maybe if I put more time into Friday, who knows? But there's another Friday the 13th game going on. There's that Jason Universe thing that's going on, which I don't know if they've ever fully explained what that is, but that's going on. Jason's in, what was that, the Multiverses game or something like that. So they got that going on. We'll just have to wait. We just have to wait to see how things unfold, man. But for the time being, the wheels are rolling. And Friday the 13th seems to be, or Crystal Lake seems to be happening. Friday the 13th, maybe. Are they doing a movie? Who knows? Friday the 13th is a headache. it's a headache to keep up with. But things are happening is basically the point, man. And speaking of things happening, that's going to be the end of the show. So hope you enjoyed this first ever video version of the show. Honestly, felt a lot more comfortable doing this than I thought I would be. It's been fun. We can be too hard on ourselves and all that stuff. I like to end every show with some positive outlooks. Like, too hard on myself. It's like, oh, this is going to suck. All that stuff, man. But at the end of the day, when I hit record and do this show, I just love doing it. And I hope you have a good time, watching it now. Imagine that. Or listening. I guess I don't know if podcast versions of this show, so I don't know. This is all on the whim, but hopefully you enjoyed this. My goofball self talking about movies, because I love doing that stuff. I love having a good time with the show, and I hope you all had a good time with it. And let's just have a good time in life, man. Life is too hard on us a lot of times, and we forget to slow down and enjoy it. We've all one thing in this life. We all got ourselves. Trust yourself, believe in yourself. You got stuff inside of you, man. There's stuff inside of you that's incapable of incredible things. You just got to trust and believe in yourself, and you can do it for sure. Look at me doing this show. I'm a person that doesn't even talk all that much. Just went to Halloween Horror Nights with all my friends. I didn't talk all that much. Why? Because I'm me. I don't talk that much. But I do a whole show, almost 20 minutes long, right here on camera, looking at you. Just talking. And, again, just believe in yourself, go after, chase your dream, do what you want to do. If you're worried about doing it, do it, man. As long as it's legal. Do it. Trust in yourself, believe in yourself, because it is inside of you. You can do incredible things if you believe in yourself, man. So, as always, appreciate you taking the time to listen to the show. Please hit that like, share, and all that stuff. Check out all the other things we got going on here on the Thrill Me Podcast Network. We got fun stuff going on. The before mentioned Halloween Horror Nights. We will have more talk about that going on. I will talk about that stuff more on the show. This show is going to be doing a lot of different changes other than just having this video. We're going to have some stuff going on, maybe. Who knows? I'm me. But appreciate you as always. Thank you for your time and support of the show. I appreciate it. I love doing the show, and I hope you love listening to it and now watching it. And as always, remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.